The night was quiet, the hum of distant traffic the only sound. Sarah, a single mother in her 30s, walked home from her job, her mind racing with the usual worries. She was tired, but she kept pushing herself. After all, she had a son, Jacob, who depended on her. Her grocery bags weighed heavily in her hands, but she still managed to walk briskly, thinking about the evening ahead, a warm meal and time with her son. But tonight, something would change. As she passed an alley, a group of rough-looking men stepped out from the shadows. One of them, the leader, gave her a menacing grin as they blocked her path. "Hey there, sweetheart. Looks like you've got a lot of groceries. Mind if we help you carry them? Maybe we'll take something off your hands." "If you know what I mean," he said. Sarah's heart raced, but she stood tall, trying not to show fear. "I don't want any trouble. Just let me pass, and you can forget this ever happened," she replied, her voice steady but filled with tension. The men laughed. The leader stepped closer, his hand brushing her shoulder in an almost taunting way. "You really think we're going to let you go? Not after all that food. And that pretty little necklace you're wearing," he sneered. Sarah's grip tightened on her bags, her mind racing. She knew she needed help, but there was no one around. She had to figure something out, fast. What Sarah didn't know was that help was already on its way. Thousands of miles away from the alley, her older brother, Jason, was sitting in his office. Jason wasn't just any guy, he was an FBI agent. Trained to handle situations like the one Sarah was in, he was a man of action. His phone buzzed, and he saw a text from Sarah, "Help, please. Some guys are following me." His eyes widened with concern, but there was no hesitation. He grabbed his jacket, his training kicking in. Jason didn't wait for the details. He rushed out of the office, the urgency in his steps clear. The bond between him and Sarah had always been unbreakable. When things got tough, Jason would always be there. He'd made that promise to her long ago, and tonight, he was about to make good on it. Back in the alley, Sarah was doing everything she could to hold her ground. The thugs were getting closer, one of them now grabbing at her purse. Panic surged in her chest, but she couldn't let it show. "Please, I don't want any trouble. Just take the bag and go," she pleaded. The leader smirked, seemingly enjoying the power he had over her. But just then, the sound of police sirens pierced the night air. The thugs froze, looking around, but it wasn't the sirens that made them nervous. It was the sudden, calm figure that appeared in the alley. Jason walked into view, his presence commanding attention. The FBI badge on his belt caught the light, and the men's confidence began to crumble. "I think you've made a mistake, gentlemen," Jason said with authority, his voice unwavering. The thugs exchanged uncertain glances, unsure of how to respond. Jason didn't flinch. He took out his phone and dialed quickly, his tone still calm. "You're done. Local authorities are on their way," he said into the phone. His words sent a chill through the men. They hadn't expected anyone to stand up to them, especially not like this. Jason's phone call was already making the wheels of justice turn, and before they knew it, the alley was surrounded by police. The leader of the group looked terrified, his bravado completely gone. "You think you can mess with my sister?" Jason asked, his voice low, dangerous. "You should have thought twice before picking this fight." The men began to back away, but it was too late. Police cars screeched to a halt at the end of the alley. Officers spilled out, and the thugs were quickly surrounded. The tables had turned, and there was no escape now. Jason stepped forward, his eyes never leaving the thugs. "You're under arrest for robbery and assault," one of the officers announced, pulling out handcuffs. As the thugs were led away, defeated, Sarah stood in the background, her fear melting into relief. Jason turned to her, his face softening. "Are you okay?" he asked. Sarah nodded, still processing what had just happened. I didn't know what to do. I thought." Her voice trailed off. Jason placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder.
You don't have to worry anymore. I've got you."
The sight of the thugs being taken away, their heads hanging low, was a moment of triumph.
But it wasn't about the victory over the criminals.
It was about something far more important, the bond between Sarah and Jason.
No matter how dark things got,
They had each other.
and that made all the difference.
For Sarah, it was a reminder that even in the most dangerous moments, help can come from unexpected places. Jason wasn't just her brother, he was her protector. And tonight, he had saved her. It wasn't just about the justice of seeing the thugs arrested. It was about the love and loyalty between siblings, the unspoken promise to always be there for each other, no matter what. As they walked away from the scene together, the camera pulled back, fading to black. The words "true strength is in the bonds we share" appeared on the screen, leaving the audience with a lasting reflection. Life can be unpredictable, and sometimes, it can feel like the world is against you. But remember, you're never truly alone.
There's always someone out there, ready to have your back when you need it most.